Good afternoon, Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker here on talkSPORT. And that is a new single, Cold Eyes, Closed Heart, from former England Surrey batsman Mark Butcher. Good afternoon, Butch.
Hi, Butch.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Yeah,
Sounds good on the radio.
It does sound good on the radio. Yeah. It's I mean, I think people will know if they follow a bit of cricket that you have a sort of parallel music career, but probably worth taking us back. How did you start making your own stuff and writing your own songs, etc.?
Oh, blimey. Back in the school days, I suppose. I started playing guitar when I was about 10, I suppose, 10 or 11, and have been in bands of various kinds ever since. And this is my third album now, so I'm almost a veteran.
Was there ever a moment when you had to choose cricket or music and you thought seriously about it? Because I mean, if playing cricket and your hands are getting mangled, you can't play the guitar. So was there ever that?
It might have helped. No, I guess when I was about 17, I suppose, before I'd become a full-time pro with Surrey, me and a band that I was in from school called The Slide were sort of getting out and about and playing a lot of gigs around South London and stuff. But then the opportunity came for me to go to Australia to go and play club cricket over there and whatever. And the decision was quite an easy one: England in the winter or Australia in their summer.
Yeah. It's not. We've all been in bands, haven't we, Paul? And there's nothing like being in a band, especially when you're in your sort of late teens, early 20s. Absolutely brilliant being in a band, playing with your mates. It's brilliant, isn't it, Mark? Do you still get that same buzz now?
Oh, definitely. It's kind of, it's still the most terrifying thing. You go out and play a test match opening the batting against Ambrose and Walsh and people like that, and that'd be fairly nerve-wracking, but it's nothing compared to sort of waiting to go on stage to go and play. So it's a very similar buzz, and it's a lot of fun. And it's a great thing about it is you can do it until you well, you don't even have to be able to stand up, do you? You can kind of do it forever. Whereas with the cricket, that had to stop.
The album's out end of September, is that right?
Yeah, 27th September. Just announced a launch show at the Oval. Funnily enough, they've given me one of the big swanky new rooms at the Oval, and we're doing it in conjunction with the Bob Willis Fund, which is the prostate cancer charity. After he sadly departed, goodness knows how many years ago that was now, but it feels like it was only yesterday. So we're raising money for them. All of the proceeds from ticket sales will go to that, and you can find the tickets on my website, which is www.markbutchermusic.com.
Excellent. Yeah, I found the single a bit earlier on Spotify, so people can find it on all the wherever they get their music from, streaming wise. So So you're off to Old Trafford, I take it, soon on duty for England, Sri Lanka, and I mean it's a bit of a shame that certainly the skipper's not going to be there. And there's been a little bit of pushback in some areas on Dan Lawrence. I saw Michael Vaughan writing at the weekend. He's not altogether sure letting him open is the right decision. I mean, what do you make of it?
It's an interesting one. I mean, it's in keeping with the way that that Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes have kind of gone about picking their teams. They've earmarked players who they think play in the right sort of style, and the position they end up batting in is kind of neither here nor there. So he's waited on the sidelines for a little while now, probably since 2021. Which was back in the West Indies. It might have been Joe Root's last tour as captain of the side, and has kind of been carrying drinks, been sat on the Judy bench for quite some time, and was next man in line. The ironic thing about it is that with Ben's injury, he probably would have come into the side, possibly would have come into the side to replace him batting at number 6. But obviously with Crawley's injury, he's now opening. And England have gone with picking an extra bowler in Matt Potts and sliding Jamie Smith up to number 6, Chris Wokes to number 7, to sort of cover for Ben's absence.
Seems a pretty transitional summer, I think, for the England Test team, especially to be trying new people out in different positions. So it's not a terrible one for Stokes to miss, really, is it? Because they can try out other stuff.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It certainly isn't the end of the world. I think obviously the team started to play it in a slightly different way through the West Indies series just gone. Obviously, they won it 3-0, won most of the games by healthy margins, but there were times in all of the Test matches, particularly the second and third, whereby they had to sort of dig deep and play in a slightly more circumspect way. Yeah. Having said that, they still managed to score at sort of 4 runs and over throughout the games, but did it in a much less risk-taking style. So Ollie Pope sort of takes over with the team in a good place against an opposition that in all honesty they should beat no matter what. But it's kind of, I suppose, takes over at a point where Ben was just starting to sort of recreate Bazball 2.0, I suppose, in a way that was a little bit more ruthless, I guess, than perhaps the previous iterations of it.
Well, he was bowling as well, wasn't he? He was bowling off his full run up, so it was exciting.
Yeah, I mean, he smashed 50 or 60 opening the batting in the last Test match to winning in the game at Edgbaston. And as you say, as a bowler, was starting to play a full role as an all-rounder in the team, which gives them that incredible balance that makes them a very, very difficult side to play. They're going in with a different style this time. Jamie Smith, the wicketkeeper batter from Surrey, kind of looked as though he'd been playing Test matches forever in the 3 that he played against the West Indies. So he'll get the chance a bit further up the order, and it's a chance for Matthew Potts from Durham, who had a really good 100 and looks to be bowling really well. Another chance to get back into the side, and also with an eye towards the Ashes back in at the end of next summer, end of next year. The likelihood is that Chris Woakes will not take part in that tour, will not be picked to go on that tour, and so they're looking for somebody to sort of replace him as a new ball bowler plus a bit of batting down at the bottom.
And finally, Butch, it's been announced that the players will wear black armbands tomorrow. There'll be a minute's silence in memory of your great friend and former teammate Graham Thorpe, which will be, I'm sure, will be a touching moment. And I'm sure the fans there will be paying their tribute tomorrow. Yeah,
sure. I mean, it's been over a couple of weeks now, since the tragic news went public. And various tributes have been paid ever since. I know that Sky, we're going to be doing a really nice sort of visual tribute to him during the build up to the show, and it's been a rotten time. Yeah. It has to be said. I was aware for a long time that Graham was very sick with his mental health, and even though there was always a possibility that things were going to end up the way that they did, it still hit everybody incredibly hard. So, it's what's been fantastic is to see the sort of the reaction from the fans. I think he was somebody in the 90s and the early 2000s who the fans always sort of thought they could rely on with the bat. He was a brilliant player and a fabulous friend, and I'm going to miss him dearly.
Well, Butch, we appreciate you joining us. We wish you well with the single and the new album, and enjoy the Test match, and we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, many thanks, guys.
Take care. There is Mark Butcher there, former England and Surrey batsman, and as we said,
get along. Is that, I don't know if that launch of the album is
if you go along
for the general public.
Go on to Butcher's. We'll put a little link through on TSH and J if we can, so you can find out where you can get tickets to that event for the Bob Willis Foundation.
Yeah, great.
Always Somewhere is the album out on September the 27th, and Cold Eyes Closed Heart, the single, you can find on all your streaming services currently.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.